How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you another episode review, more of a recap of Shaman King 2020. These episodes I'm doing are episodes 11 through 18. So you're probably saying to yourself, wait a minute, weren't you doing them five at a time? I was doing them five at a time. Here, and then I say before that it seemed like five at a time was perfect. Like things were on a perfect cliffhanger, they were resolved, XYZ. Well, before I resolve this thought, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified of more videos like this, and do share that video. So, I need to finish this series because I don't know what it is about the spring. Maybe because in Japan the cherry blossoms are going to be coming out in full effect soon for the I think they're only around for 2 or 3 weeks that they're out in full effect, but tons and tons of spring anime has been announced. And on top of that, Shaman King. The rest of that is going to be shown. Now, slow down for a second here. That does not, when it comes to Netflix, especially over here in the West, they got to wait for these to come out. And I'm telling you guys, the way Netflix does anime, the way they're doing new anime, it's why I couldn't get to um, Stone Ocean, JoJo. It's why I couldn't do Comey when I want to. It's why I couldn't do this when I want to. You know, I'm coming out with a video tomorrow explaining my plans for this season. But yeah, this is gonna finish up. But we probably will not be seeing the subtitles and all that good stuff. Excuse me, until May, because I was able to line up the timetable. The around May is when the Blu-rays come out, and the show's almost over. It's kind of funny. Not really things were spoiled for me because I've read this entire thing. I just haven't read it in oh over not over a decade, but oh no, it has been over a decade. But yeah, it's just nice to see it in motion form. That's pretty. It's kind of interesting when you talk about anime and manga, and I'll speed this up. Sometimes you just want to just see the anime. Sometimes you're just gonna read the manga. Sometimes you're gonna do both because you really want to see these things in motion. This is one of the ones where I really want to see it in motion. What has happened? So, remember last time I told you Ren was going to go talk to, well, confront his father because he wants to end the curse. Now, guys, I got 3 pages back and forth of notes. So, I'm going to get through this. It's not going to be an hour. It's not. I'm going to try to keep it at 30 minutes just so I can talk about some things here. So, episode 11 was Ren had fought all of the Jingshi. Those are Chinese zombies, you know, with the dead bodies and the tags, the charms on their heads being controlled. He fought through all of them. He eventually had to fight his father. Got beaten pretty badly. His sister, he decided to punish her. He being Tao En, their father. He's shown as this big, massive human being. We actually see him a couple episodes prior to this squeezing a panda and killing it. Okay. And he shows Lee the disembodied body of Lee Pa Ren. He shows Ren that. Sorry, I call him Lee because it's kind of what they call him in in the Four Kids one. Sorry, but yeah, he shows him this. He chopped the guy up. He's mad that Ren is trying to tell him, let go of my sister, fight me. Things do not go his way to the point that even Yo kind of sensed it. But Basong, the old Chinese general, the spirit ally of Ren, went to Yo and he's like, hey, the only thing I could think of doing was to come and get you to get Master Ren. We're all friends, right? We're all friends, right? Had to stop that because I will not show clips on this show. Nothing will be running in the background unless I have been given an okay to do it, or unless it's already a trailer or something. I'd rather have just stills up there. Yeah, anime channels are being taken down because some people don't understand what intellectual property is. I will get to that in my video for tomorrow too. Regardless of such, Basong goes to get Yo. Yo, of course, has Horo Horo. There's Ryu, and who else is there? Horo Horo. No, that's the whole gang. They're all going to go get him. They still have time before the next level of the shaman fight, and I'm pretty darn sure that Ryu had came back from training with Yo's grandfather. He did, because they end up leaving Ryu there, so because he wants to be a shaman now. Apparently, he is a shaman, and his spirit ally, of course, is Tokagero. I more than likely have spoiled all this because, guys, as I'd said before, the 4 Kids version, well, 4 Kids, the version of this anime that came out years ago, actually back in 2000, 2002, 2001, uh, animation was pretty bad. This animation is great. A lot of things were drug out for long periods of time. Getting to this stage of going to the Tao's Chamber of Doom. You ever seen that Bruce Lee movie? That going up and down. That's basically what this is based off of. It took a long time, so I'm applauding how they're doing this one. So let's go over the episode 12, right? Episode 12. This is where typical fashion, you can tell if you've seen the original, you can tell where they would stretch things out because there is a Power Rangers Sentai parody Jingshi force that Tao En has. They are specially modified zombies. As a matter of fact, one of them, the red leader, is actually the only one that's really strong. Like all the other ones have animal parts, but they're easily beaten by Horo and by Ryu. Why are they easily beaten? Because they're a distraction. Because the red leader is actually Lee Pyron's master. Now you're saying we met his master already. Like Yo used his spirit to calm down Lee. Well, apparently his body was taken by Tao En and modified, and now he is under his control. Ren is all strung up. His sister, she has no hope, but Ren observe saves some hope because this episode, and I don't have the title for it in front of me, basically about how Ren and Yo are, two halves of the same whole. It's interesting because in this series, Ren is recognized as being the stronger of the two. As a matter of fact, when I get around to later episodes, I'm gonna say it now because I might forget. People are wondering why Hao has interest in Yo when Ren, everyone saw the fight with Ren. Ren is obviously stronger. He has more mana. He, he is that dude. But there's something special about Yo. Yo obviously comes down there, gets Ren. They get his sister. They get out. They're saying we need to leave. No, Ren wants to end what's going on with the Tao family here and now. When we get back up, our boys have been beaten up. Lee Pyron is already up, and it's really good to see Tao June being very angry, very pissed off. Now, they went ahead and they made quick work of Mr. Pyron's teacher, which the only reason they knew it was his teacher because of Manta. Manta, of course, showed up there not really knowing what his part was. He was just hanging out with Basan until Basan got back to Ren, but he instantly recognized the missile kick. So now here comes the confronting of Tao En. They fight Tao En. He's massive, but for some reason they can't touch him. He's super fast. He gets out the way. What's going on? And it's super obvious unless you are pardon me, unless you are very immersed and you're not really paying attention to it. Earlier episodes in this show, and not with the ones with Tao En in it, kind of give you a guesstimate of what's going on. Even this episode of Tao En is going to foreshadow something later on within these 8 episodes that I've done, right? Eventually they're fighting. He's beating the crap out of everybody. And everybody gets up. And he's like, whoa, he's like, here, you're supposed to discard everything. You're using friends. Just accept your punishment. Come home, stay here and I'll train you up. He's like, no. What you call a weakness is actually a plus for me. They finally come to realize that the Tao En, this massive, almost like two-story man, is actually an oversoul, and that oversoul is being used by the real Tao En, and his real form looks like a dragon that still has that goofy-looking head, and it's downright ridiculous that Lee does the thing. They end up beating the dragon, but Tao En doesn't want to relent. And out of nowhere, Ren and June's mother and grandfather, this dude carries a gun for some reason, a Beretta. They appear. They tell Tao En it's over. Like, he's won. Because you see the real Tao En. He looks like a normal dude, basically. And the issue, which their grandfather clears everything up for everybody, they even invite the whole crew to eat. He says that um, Tao En became so absorbed with the fact that their family was shunned. The people had used them. They're obviously they're a form of shamanism, it's Taoism, and people had used them and saw them as monsters, and they tried to kill him out. And he was so focused on that hate and that rage. But Ren is different from everybody, as it has been stated by his sister and now his grandfather. By the way, June gets her hair color from their mother. Hmm. And so, as the group leaves, I really want to call him Lee. Ren gets a more or less a power boost. Is their father, by the way, Ren is again riding on that white horse. Gives them the Thunder Sword, a relic that's in their family that's been passed down from father to son, father to son. Here you go. Here's the Thunder Sword. That will have some importance later. Where am I at here? Now, I had to take a couple of days break because there's some other things going on. But one of the interesting things is episode 13 when Hao fully shows himself. Remember, Ryu had saved the gang because of. I told you he trained too. Ryu had saved the gang because he beat up those weird rock and roll monks. And we got our first hint of how. Well, one of the funniest things on this episode, in episode 13, get to villains, and some of the stuff that I may have spoiled for you guys is Hal's backstory, things of that nature. So the shaman fights are going to start again. Everybody's at this large airport. This is where we meet Hal. Hal sucker punches Horo with his massive spirit of fire, which very first episode was a little tiny baby thing. Nah, 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 nah. This thing is gigantic. And how's his? You know when villains have a special laugh or saying, his whole thing is "Don't be petty." How petty, right? And Hal just kind of looks over Yo. And one of the things I will give Yo credit, he's very laid back to the point of seeming goofy. But he said, "Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Dude looks like me, but he also looks like Silva. I'm gonna keep that in mind. I thank you for not being dumb and going, why does that guy looks familiar? No, he looks like me. I'm gonna figure this out." A plane comes in, and it was a funny moment because these are supposed to be Native Americans, right? What are you doing using modern technology? They use modern ways to make this thing. It's literally a giant oversoul. And they end up crash landing in America. They go from Tokyo to America, the western part, where then they have 3 months to get to the Patch Village. They run into a Samona tribe person named Liliara, who is able to, in a very Yu-Gi-Oh style form, show them what happened in the past. We are fully confirmed that Hal was at the last Shaman gang 500 years ago. And actually before that, he was around as part of the Asakura family, which we're going to find out in episode 14 anyway. Doesn't matter. But she's trying to get everybody to turn away to not fall into the Patch Tribe's entire, you know, scheme, because there was a legend about a patch demon coming through burning everything. That was Hal Asakura, who was able to make himself reborn into the Patch Tribe just to get the Spirit of Fire. Is one of the 5 great elemental spirits of the Patch Tribe, and he reincarnated himself just to get it. And if it sounds like I said he reincarnated himself, he chooses. He's able to control his life stream. One thing I did not mention that happened the very end of last episode into this episode is highly implied that Yo and Anna consummated their relationship. Yo was very, the last days, and I say it like that because his life is not going to be the same. The shaman fight is a very big deal. So he went and hung out for a while, and he came back, and he was in the bed. He didn't listen to music, and she's like, can we sleep together? It could have been that they just shared the bed together, but when he told Ren that he could have stayed at his house, and Ren was like, "Well, that'd been okay," and he went, "Ho ho, maybe it wouldn't have been okay." It's highly implied. I digress. Lily Rara sees that these guys are determined because they have dealings with Hal too. They need to beat this guy because he's obviously an evil jerk jackass. Now that we understand who he is, not fully, they don't know fully, but we know who he is. They're gonna go on their way. She shows them how to get to where the Patch Village was before. Hal shows up and murders, just like straight up murders her. She gets the massive spirit of fire. The four fingers go through her, and apparently, spirit of fire not just burns you; it burns the bones, it burns the soul. She is obliterated. I am just gonna spoil all this stuff right now. I really hope you're not keeping up with me in the episodes because those episodes have been shown already. Look, guys. Matter of fact, I'll tie it into furthermore what's going on. Where am I at here? Ryu, girl, no, dying, blah, 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 blah. We go into the next episode. This is episode 14 now. In episode 14, Yo was able to sense that Lily Rara was. She was like, I think she's in trouble. The gang is like, well, we just left her. It's probably a good thing you didn't go back. I don't think that you wanted to try to face Hal or any of his goons very early. As a matter of fact, the gathering last episode of the goons, you saw them in the gathering at the last shaman fight with Yo versus Ren. You see these people sitting all around. What I like about how this is done, a lot of things aren't very secret. It's just if you think they're background characters, sure they're background characters until they aren't. Now, they run into Lyserg. Lyserg, his name is Lyserg. I do not remember the last name. With a little bit of magic, I will remember it. Dethel. Lyserg Dethel. Basically, his entire deal is I hate to say fake Sherlock, but that's where he comes from. He comes from great detectives who are also dowsers. They use um, a form of dowsing rods using pendulums to be able to detect ley lines and be able to find spiritual things and where people are hidden as such. Lyserg really wants to make friends. He wants to have friends, so he beats the crap out of Horo and Ren with his spirit ally Morpho, who's able to get inside his little pendulum spike thing in order to actually home in on people. Literally broke Horo's board and Ren's halberd. And this pisses off Yo. Because Yo's like, you know what, because you hurt my friends, it's not going to be a fight. I'm going to beat you in one move, and then I'm going to take my friends to the hospital. Which he does. And actually, he gives Lyserg a flashback of how because Hal killed his parents because his father would not swear loyalty to him. Mind you, Lyserg was about 9, because they said 1991. He was about 9, maybe 5. Hal was about the same age. Remember, don't know if you guys pay attention to this. Hal is technically a twin of Yo. That's why they look exactly alike, because they are technically twins. Um, And what's very crazy about this, now Lyser's about to get serious. He does a Big Ben attack, which is where his father had hid his birthday gift, which tested his skills, Yo beats him again. And then Yo ends up punching him, says, all right, that's for hurting my friends. If you want to tell me your story, we'll be at the hospital. Come and tell us. Lyserg does tell them. He even pays for them to get their stuff fixed. And they accept him in. Now, here's an interesting part. Ryu initially thinks that Lyserg is a girl. Everybody else does not fall for these trappings. But an interesting thing, here's the thing that's been asked of me. What is the deal with Ryu? Some people believe that he is bisexual because obviously his whole thing is about girls. That's probably his main preferred uh, gender It's girls. Now, it's been said that he flirts with Lyserg a lot, but could it be that Ryu has a thing for cute things? He's mentioned several times before. He was talking about how Horo Spirit Ally, how cute she is. He he's mentioned all the time when something is very cute, it catches his eye. He could be that kind of character, and nothing has ever been straight up confirmed about his sexuality. But the way he flirts with everyone has been played up for laughs. If you guys like Doctor Who and you like Captain Jack, played by, oh goodness, I cannot remember his name. I can't remember his name at the moment. But if you remember Captain Jack from Doctor Who with the David Tennant years, just consider him like that. Ryu's fine. Ryu is fine. But as our crew gets more people, Anna is called by Yo's grandfather, who basically tells her, yeah, Yo is not strong enough, and we're going to tell you about what's going on. How Asakura. He was a strong Omioji. He was able to control many different spells. He had a spell book. They took his spell book. As a matter of fact, he had declared that he wanted to wipe out all humanity after something happened to him. This is where I will spoil it to you. What happened to him is his mother was killed. For what reason and why, I do not remember, but I know his mother was killed. That is the key thing here. Again, I will say this about how he is one of the most interesting, interesting villains because just like Yo, he's fairly laid back until it's time to get to business, which many people are saying, well, that's kind of like Luffy from One Piece. No, because Hal is only very vicious when it comes to the very his very ambition of saying, yeah, I'm going to be Shaman King. And it's like well, I've said this for Luffy too. It's like very much like a switch that flips, but Hal's different. He is very much built different. He's one of those villains where I'm gonna let you get stronger because it doesn't matter. We don't see a lot of those. We see villains that go, "I'm gonna fight you." Oh man, okay, well you're strong. I'm just gonna leave. You're not stronger than me though, but I'm just gonna leave. Anna has to be the one to give this book to Yo. Of course, Tamayo's there. She was eavesdropping. Anna has to fight two of the original Shikigami guards of Hao, who were sealed within the book as well. I do remember both of these guys. One is green, one is blue, one is red. They'll probably show themselves in the later episodes after episode 18. But I remember that it was one of the cool things. One of the things that made me kind of like Anna because she has these 1080 beads, the Buddhist beads. But her whole slapping thing is still annoying. I just don't like it. Maybe it's because of my older age. I find that trope very annoying. Her dedication and love to Yo is great, but that trait is leaves very much to be desired for me. And that is what that is where the episode ends. But we do get a new ending. So it's marking something changing. So how Asakura, who also grandfather has mentioned, he was able to control his life strain. I'm pretty sure I said that, so he can make himself reincarnate whenever he wants, every 500 years. As a matter of fact, Yo's dad has been following them in America because he's just keeping watch of them and how he wears this Tengu mask. His name's Mishaka, I think that's his name. Episode 15. We have. Is that the one? Yes, it is. Episode 15 is where we get more about what's going on with how who he is, blah 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 blah. But we get our main plot is with Horror wanted to, they're finally at some slopes. They were in Colorado, which is weird. I wonder where they were actually dropped off at for them to go up and then Colorado and then they're going deeper into the desert. But he wants to snowboard. Yo's like, just catch up with us. Yo is the defunct leader, made leader by Ren because he says, I can't do it because of my personality. I will try to hurt somebody. It's better that Yo does it because you other two are dumb and you're gaudy. Even though it was pointed out that Ren literally rides in on a white horse. So Horo does tons of tricks and everything, but unfortunately, prior to him going off by himself, the group was talking about how cute Morphine is. It's supposed to be Morphine, but it's Morphin. Um, how cute Leinster Spirit Ally Morphine is. She is a sprite from over in England, one of the woodland sprites, right? And of course, Horo Spirit Ally, she's just, I don't know if she's jealous per se, but it's kind of like, oh, you think he's better? Just float off to the side. This man falls off. He falls off of a ledge from doing a trick because he thinks Coral is with him. She ain't with him. He can't do any of his moves. Wakes up with both legs apparently broken. He's been out of commission for 3 days. This young woman, her name's Bluebell. She's a park ranger. She got him and was getting him back to health. Now it's kind of weird. He was walking on broken legs. Okay. On top of this, she tells him about this bear named Apollo, whose mother was killed by hunters, and he had uh, this giant buckshot mark, scar on his face, which looks like craters of the moon, hence the name Apollo. And she's saying Apollo never liked humans after that. And if a bear hurts a person, they have to put him down. This is very much true in America. So she's like, just stay here until the morning, and then I'll take you where you need to go. And Hor basically kind of preaches to her a tiny bit, saying, where I come from, man and animal supposed to be one. You know, you might need to do something about them, not kill them or anything, but you can't blame people because people are also part of nature. But once she leaves, Horo, he has a brand new outfit. He's like, all right, I've gotten too lazy, too lackadaisical. He says that he has taken things for granted. He wants to have a more grateful soul. Grateful soul. He also explains to the young lady what the shaman fights and everything else was. He goes out. When she comes back, she has to go find him. He does run into Apollo, and he does the Japanese tradition of trying to share sake with someone to hammer out things and smooth things over. It's kind of a thing to make sure war doesn't happen. Make another One Piece reference. Shanks and Whitebeard share a giant bowl of sake because Shanks did not want something to happen. I'm trying not to spoil for things. Spoiler if you haven't seen it. He wants to share a bowl of sake to stop Whitebeard from going to war because of what was going on with Ace. So here Horo's trying to share some sake with Apollo, trying to smooth things over, and he's talking to Bluebell, trying to tell her, I want to make a field of curry plants. I think that's what's called curry plants. I understand, we view everything as a god. The moon is a god, trees are god, bears are god. Everything is one and is connected. So we should be able to live in harmony. He's trying to convince Apollo to just leave and go away. And he tells Bluebell the reason why he can't go away is because he smells like people. He can't be near people, but he can't be near bears. And he gets beaten up pretty badly by this bear. Slapped around, tossed around, beaten the hell down. But eventually, through his speech, Apollo warms up to him and they made a connection. Apollo gets murdered by some dumb hunters who, for some reason, didn't notice the park ranger there and then didn't notice him there. And he's enraged. And him being enraged is he speaks so quietly. It's almost like a whisper. It's literally almost like a whisper. He gets Oversoul version 3 with Koro goes into not his board. He has a new spirit totem, which is like it's like a traditional board that they put in the ground to honor the spirits. If you play any Street Fighter, look on Akuma Street Fighter Third Strike stage for Akuma. Those are all around there. I digress. He basically has a beam saber now that can freeze things. Doesn't kill the guys so they can go to jail. It's pretty appalling that they killed the bear and aren't going to eat him or use him for anything. Makes a shrine for him. Once he catches up with the crew in episode 16, they're all like, "You seem really, really serene and older." Much to Ren's chagrin, because he's like, he has a smug look on his face. And even though Ren has been beating him up, he's like, "It's okay. It's good, bro." So Horror has a grateful spirit. Um, this episode is the one for Ryu. It's great. And the reason why I say it's great is because we are introduced to some of Howl's lackeys. As a matter of fact, we're introduced to Boris Tempest Dracul, who is a direct descendant of the man everyone calls Dracula. Well, he kills a team member because everyone's laughing, saying, how can you be Dracula when this other guy's Dracula?" And they're making fun of the fact that they have two guys that are literally kind of the same shtick. But he kills this guy in cold blood. And apparently he was supposedly made easy work of Ryu, chopping off his already slick back double pompadour. Cuts that thing off, which he has a motorcycle helmet for, which is so weird. Anyway, bit Lyserg. Lyserg's kind of now, and his whole deal is blood. Well, turns out his whole deal isn't blood. The whole blood thing is he uses it as a medium. And he has a spirit ally who was one of the people that had hunted Vlad the Impaler. He hunted his family. They had to leave his home. I forget, they gave the very real Eastern European name for it. Left it to go to the forest of Transylvania and still had people hunting them because Vlad was seen as this vampire thing, even though he protected his people from the Ottoman Empire. And there's a lot of anger there. Funny enough, hundreds of years ago, Hal shows up, has the family like, "Hey, you guys can do this shaman stuff," and brings them out of obscurity to teach them how to protect themselves. And all they have to do is just swear loyalty to them, which they did. By the mind, the people that are with Boris, they tell Yo, yeah, further in is how you get to Patch Village. One of these guys looks like Shoddy from Yu-Gi-Oh, dude who has the Millennium Scales, deep cut right there. And so, as this fight transpires, we get another great thing from Yo, who believes in his friends and always says things will work out, right? Yeah, they're going to work out. So even if my plan didn't work, we were going to do something different. And we get flashes of Ryu back training in the mountains. Here's where I have some issues with the translations a bit. My issue is that when I hear Yamato no Orochi, I expect you to write Yamato no Orochi because that is the name. You do not have to directly translate it to eight-headed serpent because Yamato no Orochi is the name of the god and tail. Which, by the by, that is the name of Ryu's new Oversoul technique. Well, I say new, but this is our first time seeing him fight fully. His new Oversoul technique. Everyone has different battle outfits, which I really like. I like he takes off his what's his name, his Kazuya outfit from Yakuza and puts on this battle gear. Beats Boris. He used all his mana for that. They fixed Lyserg because Lyserg was ultimately taken over by the Spirit Ally because Mitamaru brought this man back to his senses and he passed on. Yo was gonna go get Boris because he's like, "I need more answers about how anyway. I'm not gonna kill him." And then episode 17, the X Laws. They are the opposite side of what House people are. If you look at How as being the dark, X Laws supposed to be the light, but they're both on the extremes. You can't even see them. That's how far out they are. They all dressed in white. They all have these guns. They all have angels based on the Kabbalah, or actually based on the actual names of higher archangels. There's Michael, Gabriel, Metatron, Raphael. Say Gabriel, Michael, Metatron, Raphael. I'm missing two others. Please don't be mad at me, guys. It's okay. I used to know these things off the top of my head, but yeah, those are the ones. No one forgets Metatron, right? Those are the ones that show up. He shoots the gun. This giant thing comes and kills Boris, obliterates him. They claim to be friends of Yo because they're like, hey, you guys aren't friends with Hal, so you're friends with us. They catch up with the rest of the group on the inside, and one of the guys that fight for Hal is this guy named Big Bill. Big Bill is a football player whose spirit allies are his former teammates that they all died in a car crash. He was the only one to make it out alive. Dude's beaten. And when the leader, well, I forget his name, I just know his spirit ally is Michael. I really forget this guy name. He wants to shoot him and kill him, and Yo is like, nah, bro, you're not gonna kill this dude. And he's like, so you're gonna stand in the way of justice? And Yo says, I wish I had wrote it down word for word, but to paraphrase, he says, what is a bigger crime and a bigger injustice than being a murderer? Dude gets enraged and shoots his holy bullet thing to get Michael to come out. Yo does, he's already an oversoul. Meanwhile, Lyserg, oh my goodness, Lyserg's a little punk. Like, we don't stand a chance, and who cares? Those guys are already bad, right? The whole thing that you're missing, that Yo's been saying, why stoop yourself to a level of people that you hate? That doesn't make you any better than them. That makes you just like them. And he literally, and Ryu, who's funny, just says he's with Yo all the way. You know, we can't beat these guys. I'm with you all the way. Yo fought this guy to prove a point, and the guy even says, he's like, yeah, you fought me knowing that you couldn't win because you wanted to stand on your own principles. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you go because he broke the samurai sword again. I'm gonna let you go, but don't even come into the shaman fights if you have this naive outlook on life. Obviously, these guys are also bad guys too because they're assholes. No one likes over religious zealots. And the one thing I give credit for the creator of this show, for Shaman King, of doing, is showing all these different versions of spiritualism. when I did word religion class, Taoism is actually one of the most interesting ones. I highly recommend you guys look some of these things up. But yeah, that's where we are. Cool thing is, Manta has everybody on a plane, and they all are able to get here faster than what it took Yo and his. They had to find the village. Manta's able to find it with crew quickly, which is leading to this one. I tried to put it on episode 18, but you can't really see. That's how right there, over there to ignore that person. That's someone who's doing a reaction video. But episode 18, guys. Hana, sorry. Hana is actually the real name of a character. Ha. Anna and Manta and Tamayo and her stupid Ren and Stimpy guys and Manta's butler all run into Hal, who's like, yeah, you got my book. You're the one that beat my Shikigami. Dude already knew that, which, by the mind, when he got beaten, he bled, which he has a little black child with him. I don't know if it's a he or she, but I'm gonna interchange in that, so don't be mad. You know, she was upset that that he was bleeding. He said, "Hey, sometimes curses backfire. That's kind of what happens." He knows who Anna is. He knows who Manta is. He even makes fun of the fact that Manta kind of talks about how Manta's short, but then the little girl's like, "Well, I'm supposed to be short and cute." No, you are short and cute. Dude is unlike any other villain because he's saying, "Yeah, make sure you give that book to Yo. I need him to be strong for me." Now you guys are probably thinking, he gonna absorb Yo. Just chill. I'm not saying no. I'm definitely not saying yes. Just chill, right? This matters. So he even tells him, he's like, yeah, I can tell you how to get in there. And he's like, man, you're a pretty good Izumo there, Anna. You definitely be a good wife for the Shaman King. She's like, yeah, and Yo's gonna be it. Ride or die, Anna. She tries to slap him. He blocks it. She's like, you forgot about the left hand. And she actually smacks him, and everybody leaves. Now, I like the fact that Anna's fast walk is just her normal walk, but picked up with dust and stuff. And even Hal's like, man, no one slapped me like that since my mother. I'm trying to tell y'all something. So anyway, the crew carries Big Bill in there. Yo is able to diffuse the tense air, tense feeling in the air, which Lyserg is like, Yo's a dangerous guy. He's able to change the mood just like that, which is Yo's specialty. Try to speed this up for you because I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there. Big Bill explains that there's a place called the Holy Grounds of the Stars. That's all he's gonna explain. He says a little stuff about here and there about the Patch Tribe and stuff like that, but he won't explain anything more because he's like, hey, you know, I paid you guys back for, stopping them from killing me. I'm not gonna die on my feet. He kind of passes out. I think he might die right there, but he passes out from his wounds. Meanwhile, they all cross over and they get through and they see the Great Spirit. There's this giant underground village and a massive spring well of spirits. I'm talking animal spirits, uh, intangible spirits, and human spirits all together. Yo has this crazy vision. He sees twins, a crocodile with water pouring out, the stars, passes out, wakes up. Silver gives him some potato soup, which he ends up eating himself, and says, yeah, that's the Great Spirit. That's what the Shaman King uses. Spirits, any people who pass come in, spirits are born there, and they're sent back out. It is very much a samsara wheel of rebirth. And then he explains some really cool stuff here. And it's Silver says by the time he got there, Lyser was already gone. I'm gonna cut to Lyser, who wakes up. I guess his patch guy gave him soup, and he was crying, saying, "I can't die before killing Hal." He's gonna leave the group. I'm just gonna spoil that. He's gonna leave the group. Um, Silver says that Ryu woke up first and has been going around the homes crying for his Lyser. Doesn't know where he is. Horror was there, woke up the same time as Yo, met his patch tribe guy who he daps up with. But not how, but Ren. Ren didn't pass out. Ren stayed awake and continued to stare back into the Great Spirit. Yes. Yes. Which is actually something, the thing I mentioned about why wouldn't Hal go after Ren instead of Yo. Lyserg mentioned that episode 16. Just gotta bring it back to you guys. Not episode 16, episode 15. Anywho, Yo's dad is there because Manta and the crew, they reached there too, and Yo's dad had to get them once they passed out. And they end up running into Anna. Anna was trying to haggle the price of these patch people's things that they make with their hands. Guy said $380. That's American. She's like, I'll give you 380 yen, which is the same price that she would pay for a charm in Japan. Funny interaction. Then we get one of the most controversial characters of Shaman King. I told you about him before. We get our man Coco Love, which Ren thought that was a joke he was making because Coco, he's black, stabs him in the face because he told him if you make another joke, I'm gonna stab you, which he does stab him. This dude's controversy because even in the subtitles, his name is Jocko. That's what they said they're gonna call him. They're not gonna call him Coco Love for obvious Coco reasons. Also, he had the stereotypical giant menstrual lips, and as a matter of fact, he technically is a minstrel. His whole entire dream is to be the greatest comedian of all time, which is fine. But that's all he kind of does is joke. Not in an annoying way. Very much a you have to understand Japanese language way, but with the subtitles, it totally works. But yeah, he's very much a controversial character. I think he technically comes from Brazil, so he's black Brazilian. His spirit ally is a jaguar called Mick. Mick the Jagger. Yes, Mick Jagger. That's the joke from Aerosmith. Anyway, he becomes our his whole entire thing is having information. Having information is important and it is golden. That's how you survive. I love the character for that because Mick the Jagger is actually genuinely cool. He gets cooler oversoul forms later on, and he's the information guy. He tells them, "Yeah, I'm just trying to form a team because the next round is teams." Matter of fact, I can't get in with any of the big three, so I'm just trying to get someone strong. Who's the big three? The favorite to win all of this is Hal and his group. The next of the big three is the X Logs, and then the technically the number two is a group called Gundara. All I know is that they use an Iron Maiden, which was foreshadowed in the new ending of With an Iron Maiden. Just gonna leave it at that. So eventually, after getting beaten up by everybody, which again I don't like this whole stupid minstrel thing because he's getting beaten up literally by everybody, even Horo and Ryu. Which Ryu, no, stop it. You don't know, no. Anyway, Yo says, yeah, why not? We need friends, but we can't find Lizer. Ren's like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own team because eventually I'm gonna have to fight you anyway, right? Hey, Ren, the second coming of Vegeta. Hey. So that's what he's gonna decide on. But who does he take? He says, I'll have, you know what? Coco Love can be on my teams, and one of you two can, because Lyser's not here. Either Ryu or Horo Horo can join his team. Ryu goes, I'm not joining a team that doesn't have Lyser. Cool, then it's Horo Horo. So he has Horo Horo, Coco Love, and Ren. That's a good team. That's a good team. So again, they have to find Lyser. What is going on here? What are we gonna do? Meanwhile, Manta and Tamayo, they're just talking. Manta feels awkward being by himself with the girl, so he's like, you know, I'm gonna try to find Anna, especially after dumb Ren and Stimpy, Panchi and Ranchi, whatever their names are, make fun of him. And Tamayo has to tell him to shut the hell up. He goes out, he hears singing, but who is that that's singing? Pretty sure if you guys don't skip the intro because the song is really good, you would know that the person he sees sitting by the water in a wheelchair is Faust. Faust the Seventh. And that's where I ended with this one. Whew, doggy. I promise you, I will make this shorter because 8 episodes got me to 46, and I remember doing 5 episodes got me to about 25. So we're gonna see how I can do by doing 10 episodes apiece. That's how we're gonna finish it. It's 38 currently, so I'm gonna try to do bouts of 10, and I will try to group every episode in, and yeah, I'll do them in groups of twos. That way, so was next week it'll be next time, not next week, but next time be 19 and 20 will be together, 21, 22, you know, 23, 24. You get what I'm trying to do. Yeah, some cool developments here. We have basically met everyone that is part of Team Yo. Everyone was in the intro. Please, this is guys, don't skip intros. One, you miss out on really good songs. Two, it tells you what's going on. All in all, I am enjoying myself with this show, and also all in all, I kind of, I don't know. I can see this coming on the new Toonami soon, as long as they get the dubbing and everything. But pardon me. But yeah, I'm having a good time. I think the only thing that bothers me is whenever Anna slaps somebody, and I can get over that because I am not a baby. All in all, this group of episodes get. Let's see. The first cluster I did, I'm gonna give that a 5 because I was so hyped. The next cluster gets a 4. This one gets a 4 as well. No, this cluster gets a This cluster gets a 4. Pretty cool stuff. If you're having a good time, if you are pacing yourself with me, good job. Thank you. Let me know what you think of what's going on with Shaman King right now. Please stay tuned. I do have a all-encompassing channel update video going out tomorrow. And yeah, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We're definitely trying to get all the way up to the top. Milestone at a time, baby. You know what? If you guys just want to help me get to 1,000 already, we can get this thing done, right? As always, thank you for taking some time out to listen to me ramble about on Shaman King. As always, I thank you guys for showing up. Please be good, be blessed, wash your hands, wear a mask, be safe out there. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, do not be a jerk. And I will most definitely see you next time.